Hey guys, I just want to say episode 4 of season 4 of The Boys is the best episode this season, right? Best episode we've gotten in a while. Like, a few things happened, but a lot was gained out of those few things, right, for us viewers. So this episode is just basically about breaking down the characters they have, whether it be for their benefit or whether it puts them in a disadvantage, right? But most of the major characters do get broken down either physically or mentally in some shape or form. And we get to see, how their upbringing or their backstory makes them the person they are today and why they choose to do the things that they do, right? So this episode starts off with Homelander. He goes back to his old laboratory that he grew up, where Vought experimented on him, right? Where he had this terrible childhood. And the scene is just set really well. You can feel the tension between Homelander and everyone, because Homelander comes in there with this sarcastic mood and gives everybody cake, but everybody is scared of Homelander because they knew they messed up, right? And that he could kill any of them at any time. So you could just feel the tension right there. And it actually made my heart race a little just for them because, he's really unpredictable, right? He seems like he's being nice to them now, but he's really there for his own agenda. And everybody notices that, right? But there's this one person in particular named Barbara that he's looking for who happened to take the day off. So, yeah, he just tells them to call her in. And then while they wait for Barbara to come in, everybody's just doing whatever Homelander says, right? So the whole idea of Homelander wanting someone to stand up to him is out the window this episode, right? And, this shows that he's slowly becoming less human, right? Because he wanted someone to stand up against him once in a while because that was showing his human side. But here he gets rid of all of that. He's just like, do it, or, I'll laser you to death, or I'll kill you, right? So now he's commanding people to do stuff, and nobody can, talk him out of anything, really. So meanwhile, that's going on. We have Firecracker. She's setting up her little TV show stand or station right across the street from where, Starlight supporters are based at. And she spends the entire day exposing her troops or, talking bad about Starlight. And most of the people viewing buy into it because, they just simp over her. They just love Firecracker so much that nothing she says or does is ever wrong, right? And Firecracker has a way with words, right? Just her emotion and how she talks and how she can appeal to her audience, right, is also what gives her the advantage. So, for example, it comes out that, well, William Butcher and MM gives information on Firecracker to use against her, and the information ends up being that she had an affair with someone a lot younger than her back in the day, and he's like, yeah, if you stop all this right now trying to expose Starlight, we want to post this on Twitter. And she's like, I don't care, go ahead, post it. Matter of fact, I'll post it for you and we'll see what happens, right? So before, it seems like, alright, well, if it gets out on Twitter, then everybody's gonna bash her for it, right? But she spins it and she announces her affair that she had many years ago during the TV station broadcast, and she starts, using emotions and everything, and she's like, yeah, that's the old me, but without that, I'd be a different person, and I am the way I am today because of this, that, right? She's just giving the whole speech, and everybody's just falling for it. So yeah, that plan didn't work. So, it kind of relates to what happens in today's world, where a celebrity can do the most terrible thing in the world, and because everybody loves that person so much that they could just start apologizing or claiming that they're sorry, and then everybody's just like, oh, okay, let's move on, right? But if it was anybody else, they'd be banned for life off of anything. So also in this episode, we have Huey, right? He's still dealing with his dad's stroke, and the doctor reveals that he has a few days at best to live. So Huey gets the idea of putting Compound V into his system in the hopes that it might, save him from dying, right? So he meets up with A-Train to get that. A-Train agrees because he owes him for killing Huey's girlfriend and everything. And then once A-Train gets the Compound V, he brings it back to Huey, and then Huey forgives A-Train because he's like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life hating someone, right? And to some people it might seem like he did a 180, but he's saying this because of his latest interactions with his mother, right? She abandoned him when he was a young kid, and he's seeing her again, and she's kind of comforting for him because his dad is in a coma and no one else can comfort him right now but her. So his interactions with his mother is making him realize he shouldn't hold hatred for someone for the rest of his life, right? So that's what makes him forgive A-Train in the end. So, I just thought that was a really cool development moment for Huey. But it is kind of off-guarding a little bit because him hating A-Train is the reason that, he's doing all this in the first place. So, also, we cut back to Homelander, and Homelander's still at the laboratory. Barbara still hasn't arrived yet. And, he's forcing people to play these games, right? So before he does that, he starts off by picking a specific lab member that's still there from the past. And he goes, oh yeah, hey Frank, remember I used to be in this room locked up and you used to play basketball with the piece of paper ball up in the trash can and you put the fire on me to see if I was durable or not. Yeah, he's like, I wanted you to see how that feels. So go in that room. And he's like, whoa, I'm very sorry. He's like, what are you sorry for? Right? He's like, don't apologize now. It's too late. So he makes him go in the room and he turns the fire on and he burns to death, right? So now all the other lab workers are scared. Then he gets the oldest lab member in there, who was the nicest one to Homelander. However, he used to call Homelander a nickname, which was Squirt, right? And that nickname came from him walking in on Homelander doing something on his free time, right? So, yeah, he didn't really like that nickname. It was embarrassing for him, right? And it's also because he walked in on him, too. So, in order to return, the favor, get his revenge, he tells the guy to, in front of everybody. And the messed up part about this is he can't because he's so old, right? His body probably, can't really do that anymore. So then Homelander tries to up the stakes, and he's like, yo, you either do it or I laser it off, right? And then he tries his hardest, and then, he just can't do it. He's too old. He's not in his prime anymore, right? And Homelander lasers it off, and he's just in so much pain, and then that's when Barbara shows up, right? And then right off the bat, we could just see how cold and ruthless Barbara is, right? And she's like, yo, just put him out of his misery. He's over here suffering. So he just stomps on his head. But the thing with Barbara is she's kind of like his mother figure, right? His parental figure while he was in that lab. Because she also, explains to him that she's like, yeah, well, we had no weaknesses against you to use. You could have broken out of here anytime you wanted, but you chose to stay, right? And that was where the humanity of Homelander came in. And she also caught out how his need for love and attention is also very human of him, right? So, and he just doesn't immediately kill her because, like I said, that's his mother figure, right? She's the only mom-like person he's ever known, right? So that's why he doesn't do it. So then, after that, we cut back to Starlight and Firecracker's battle, right? And Firecracker takes it to the next level, right? And she exposes Starlight's medical bills or medical history, her recent medical history. And it's revealed that Starlight had gotten an abortion. But this is bad because, Starlight is supposed to be a Christian. So Firecracker uses that against her and reveals it on her news station truth bombing session, right? And then Starlight just gets so mad, she flies over to Firecracker and just starts beating her up, right? And then this is also kind of beneficial because it's proving, it's beneficial for Firecracker because it's proving her point that, Starlight isn't who she says she is, and she's very ruthless and she's a monster inside, right? So her just fighting her on her own show just proves that point further for Firecracker. And so now everyone's looking at Starlight very differently, right? She's losing supporters and losing opportunities because of that. So then, also, here's where another piece of character breakdown comes in. Frenchie reveals to the guy, he's been in a relationship with, that he killed his parents all those years ago, right? And the guy, attacks him, punches him in the face, and then he lets him go. And he's like, if I ever see you again, I'll kill you, right? I don't know why you just didn't kill him. But, yeah. So, Frenchie was just holding that in all season so far. And then he's like, why are you being so nice to me? And the guy's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I killed your family, right? So he just couldn't hold in the guilt anymore, right? So, yeah. And then we have another breakdown with Sage and the Deep, right? They had their little relationship moment last episode. And it's revealed that she lobotomizes herself in order to stay normal or to stay human, because her brain just keeps growing forever. Because usually the brain stops growing once you reach 25 years old. Hers just keeps going. And the more intelligent she becomes, the less human she is. So she's like, yeah, I've been treating you differently, Deep, because I have to lobotomize myself to act normal. And she lets him do the lobotomizing, which was crazy to see because they did not censor it at all. So yeah, then we cut back to Huey's dad, and Huey got a talking from William or from Butcher that using the compound V might not work, right? Because Butcher tried to use the compound V to cure his cancer that he got from the prototype compound V last season, and it just made things worse. So he's saying sometimes you just gotta let stuff go, let stuff be, right? You can't control everything. So it seems like Huey's accepting, the father's death, but then we see that, compound V is in his system anyway, right? And I think the mom did it because she was not shocked at all that, the dad's body was reacting to the compound V, but Huey was shocked, like completely surprised. So the lack of expression on the mother's face tells me that she went in his bag or jacket and got the compound V and injected, her former husband with it. And then, to close off the episode, right, we go back to Homelander and his laboratory, and he's in the chamber room he used to be kept in, and we could just see blood all over the wall, body parts everywhere, right? He killed all the lab workers, the old and the new. He killed everyone except for Barbara. And then, he just gives this smile of relief because he's free now. He killed everyone that caused him problems during his childhood, right? So he's kind of less human now. Now he's just Homelander, alright? So yeah, this This was just a great episode. Definitely 10 out of 10. I'd even say 100 out of 10, right? Everybody got broken down in different ways. And, you know, now we see why people act the way they do and everything. But one thing that I think they should have done was just have this whole episode focus on Homelander as much as they can. Like, this could have just been a Homelander centered episode, right? Because I just felt that tension every time he was on screen, and every time they cut off to another, you know, character, I just wanted them to just go back to Homelander. So yeah, you know, people are developing mental wise in this episode, more ways than one, some good, some bad, and I can't wait to see what happens next. You know, things really looks like they're about to pop off. Homelander does not care anymore, right? So when he gets back, he's about to start taking charge like a dictator and everything. So I'm just excited to see what happens. So that's gonna be about it for this review. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.